Hello, how is everyone today on this fantastic Sunday? We got to observe the train, V, Youth Worship, Explosion, Crack Machine, Charm Tiger, Johnny Peace, Love and Metal, Musket, Leon, Charm Tiger. I already said Charm Tiger. You get announced twice today. Maryland, Synapse, Evil's here. This is fantastic. We have a pretty strong start, better than last week, even. Oh, Ramono's here. Yep, it is Father's Day over here in the States. It's just another day for me, honestly. Nothing changes much for Father's Day. Mother's Day, we like to take the moms out, but I don't know. To me, a good Father's Day is a well-rested day, just kind of chill. I'm not one for going out and doing stuff. That's just my personal idea of a relaxing day, though. But I appreciate the well wishes. We have 11 songs set up for today. I was thinking about running it back to just 10, since I think we only have 5 for next week, and we have none for the 5th Sunday so far. I'm hoping some more late requests come in to help fill out next week's list, but otherwise I guess we're going to, I don't know, play that one by ear. Definitely not going to cut it short. I just don't know what we're going to do for it yet. The medium demon is not giving good wishes to our summoner. The medium demon is not awake yet. Summertime, man. These kids, they just sleep. I can't say much, though. I did the same. It's just... Good afternoon, Arkonji. Glad to have you. Almost afternoon for us over here. We still have another hour, though. Let's get this rolling, though. We have some interesting stuff today. We're going to kick it off with some... I don't know how to pronounce this. Y'all can see it. It's up there. I probably should have looked up some pronunciation on it first, but whatever. Here we are. We're doing it live. Doing it poorly. Do you have context for this? From Bartolomej. There are translated lyrics in the YouTube CC option. Obviously, a lot will be lost in the translation, but the beat on its own is interesting enough to warrant a reaction. Your body doesn't let you sleep much after 6? I feel that. Usually I'm up by 7. I've been up by 7 for the last 9 months. And now that summer's kicked in and I don't have to be up, I don't have to get a kid up for anything, I don't have to get him ready for school. My body's like, you know what? Sleep a little later. But it's still like 8 o'clock. After 8, I'm up. You people wake up too early? 6 is the time to go to bed. I feel that too. I get to bed about 12 to 1 most nights. And then I'm up by 7 or 8. Not really functional before 8. Yeah, having a job that's global, you're gonna have to adjust to different time zones. That makes sense. It gets light at 5 a.m. Jeez, we have light at I think our sunup is about 6:30 over here. So five's wild though. Before 8 is illegal hours. Yep, 12 to 1 bed, 7:30 up. Terrible sleep habit, I'll tell you, but it works. I don't know that I feel as rested as I could, but I'm functional, and it just works for me. So 5:20, it's like I gotta go look this up now. When is sunrise down here in good old sunshiny Florida? 5:20 just seems 3:30. I typed sunrise Florida expecting to, find when sunrise is. No, we have a city called Sunrise. The sun doesn't set there? Where are you located where you don't have sun setting? All right, yeah, I was right then. Give or take. There are a couple of places where sunup was 5:42 this morning, but most places are looking about 6:30. See, I'm not up then, so I was just kind of guessing. I don't understand how some places are... Oh, up by the panhandle. Okay. And then this place too? Yep, right up there on the panhandle. So the most northern western parts of Florida have a little earlier sunrise. That also, yep, that's also panhandle. All right. Northern Norway? Dang. All right. We're going to get this train rolling. I still can't pronounce this. We're going to dive in, listen to some interesting beats. I'll try to make sure that the closed caption is visible. We'll see what I can do about that. Let's dive in.
To jest gówno dla naszych białasów. Sprawdź to. Chciałbyś znać mój ruch. 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 A to chuj, ciągle dym. Jeden, drugi, trzeci buch. Antari M10, zapierdalam z tym. Kamera, oko, kręcimy filmy. Jestem naiwny jak debil, czy inny. Jestem wysoko, potem jestem nisko. W kwestii emocji to wszystko. Ktoś dzwoni, chuj z nim. Jaskóły dziś latają nisko. Będzie deszcz, puste boisko. Ej, pomata. Leci on. Ej, uważaj, masz. Strzelaj, wej. Chyba na dole. Co? Ej. Chciałbyś znać mój ruch. Chciałbyś znać mój ruch. Chciałbyś znać mój ruch. Chciałbyś znać mój ruch. Co? Ej. Chciałbym znać twój ruch. 8-8 chciałbym znać twój ruch. Weź, mutuj. Synowska, szkoła mutowania. Z Poznania do Gdyni, z Gdyni do... Słowa tracą sens. Coś mi go zasłania, jebana firana. Znowu wkurwiam się. Gówno nie jest takie proste, wiesz. Kiedy światło gaśnie, dla ciebie świat znika. Łykasz jak jebany pelikan. Synowskie sny na głośnikach, w sercach panika. To gówno ciągnie się śladami po chodnikach. I chuj wie dokąd i po co. Syny dokąd,
Jagger out here throwing shade.
Chciałbyś znać mój ruch.
I'm still trying to wrap my mind around it.
Chciałbyś znać mój ruch.
There's a lot of interesting choices in it.
Chciałbyś znać mój ruch.
We have the slightly detuned synth. We have the talk box. Hey, Parrot, glad to have you.
Chciałbyś znać nasz ruch. 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 Chciałbyś znać nasz ruch.
I do wish that it just did something a little different though.
Chciałbyś znać nasz ruch. Chciałbyś znać nasz ruch.
Okay, so maybe we're heading towards something different here. Hip, not hop. You didn't get his move. There was bass in the last one too. It was on a cello, actually. It was hidden in the mix, so I didn't notice it really until the end when we started removing layers, but it was there. Interesting decision to use a monophonic synth for this too. You get those really sharp changes between notes because of that. You know, I kind of like this stuff. I kind of dug that ending there. Simple, but effective. The rest of the track, I don't know. It was fine. Had a nice beat to it. Had some interesting choices as far as textures and sounds, but just never really clicked for me. I kind of would have liked some kind of contrast, even if it was just a simple beat change or maybe a harmonic change, just something to create maybe even a sense of a chorus. It just felt like one really long verse, which granted, it was only like 3 minutes long. And we did have a verse lyrically, just not musically. So I don't know. That part was fine. It didn't click with me, but it wasn't really bad either. I suppose if you like hip hop, you may have gotten into it. Maybe being able to understand the language and find the wordplay in that would have been neat. Like Bartolomej explained, some stuff is going to get lost in translation. Probably some of the more poetic and linguistic parts. Maybe you would have liked it better if you knew his move. The music stops. I like that. And see, I'm kind of there with you too, Mark. It was different, but it didn't make my ears bleed. I didn't dislike it in any way. It didn't click with me. either. I do like the ending though. It feels so distinct from everything else, but if the rest of the song is this this bolsterous sort of, you know, I'm so great attitude that I think it was kind of going for, this was a sense of vulnerability, the other side of the coin. It was pensive, it was sorrowful, it was isolating. It's like we finally knew his move. We got to see inside him. I don't know, I hope that's the purpose of it. I kind of dig that. But was it serious or parody? Yeah, dude, I don't know. Maybe seriously parody? They obviously put a lot of thought into it. It's a lot of passion and skill on display. Yeah, I don't know. That outro was good. I'll give him that. That captured my attention in a way I was not expecting given the rest of the track. And the video too, right? We went from like clubbing and fine dining to, well, first of all, we had the change from the cooler color grading to the warmer color grading. Kind of gave it a little bit of, I don't know. At first I thought it was kind of changing it over to something more modern, where the cooler grayer color was like past or something. But also I think it's just a sense of burning. It's fire, it's warmth. It's the dangers of that. And it's just the two of them sitting there. It's such a stark contrast, not just musically, but even visually, that I can't read it any other way as some sort of artistic display there. I don't know. I get more intrigued the more I think about it. I want to dive into it and like figure out what they were intending with this. It poses a lot of questions to me, more so than I originally assumed, and I'm always down for that. We have some Calexico coming up next with the track Quattro, World Drifts In, live from Mario with no context. I've been stoked for this one. I love live performances that y'all send me anyways. Some live performances are just fine, but when y'all send me one, y'all picked it for a reason. Like, this speaks to you more than the studio did. I'm always down for that. So let's see what's going on with Calexico.
Here's a new song called Quattro, World Drifts In.
Nice mood. I like whatever's in the background. It's real quiet.
In a life eclipsed and alienated, in a time occupied and invaded. Can't tell what's right. Better hit the ground.
Oh, that little darkness kicking in.
In the hills where the tall weed grows, the hands are tied that won't let go. Can't escape this place without leaving the world behind. In a life sake of trade.
Oh, off on the right of the stage, yeah.
The soul is bare, feels the weight of truth falling through. Oh, left behind, no choice but to run to the mountain. When the poppies grow, you'll have to hit the ground and run. Hit the ground.
It's a very light song for all of these musicians, especially with all the brass here.
In a life paralyzed, spirits faded.
Oh, I just noticed he has two mics taped together there.
Must decide to follow or run into the eye of the storm. No sign, no omens. Oh, make it right, fall to the other side where fields are burning in. Day you're born, you'll always hit the ground running.
I love this little thing here.
Hit the ground running.
Yeah, there's so much movement, conversational writing there. That's nice. I kind of agree with Thanos there. I just wish it went somewhere. We have all this fantastic instrumentation. We finally get to hear all of it playing together, right? We have the sforzando on the trumpets, on all the brass actually. It's when they hit the note hard, bring the volume way down, and then do a rising crescendo back into that same volume. We got a cool little lick on that. And then we have like this bouncing idea that's coming in on the trombones, I think. We hear once on the left, once on the right. During all of that, we have the violins also doing a sforzando, and it kind of has this growing power underneath it. And this takes us back to the brass stinger, the brass sforzando again. Very cool idea. That whole little like 2-bar thing is beautiful. Love it. I want more of that writing elsewhere though. So much of this song is just very light drumming, some light string work as harmony, chords on the guitar, and just singing. And it's so minimal. And I like that in contrast, but it takes up a majority of the song. And so it's a beautiful track that I just wish did more. And that's really it. Like, it's solid 7 out of 10 here. They show me a vision of them playing at 9 out of 10, but it's just a vision. It's never the core of the song. It's comfortable, for sure. The ending was like the song, it just deflated and died. Yeah, it wasn't a very powerful ending either, which might make sense lyrically, but I don't know. Talking coming in at my talking? Like it's not working properly? I was gonna say, I hope not. Pretty sure the mic is outside of okay, fine for everyone else. Excellent. Like the mic just left the return window, so I have to deal with the company now rather than Amazon. But like, dude, the bells sound great. The percussion sound great. The brass sounds great. Love the strings. As Sinus pointed out, it doesn't really sound live. Whoever mixed this did a fantastic job at it. It's comfortable. It's cozy. It's gorgeous. I love the vocal timbre. It just never did anything with all of the pieces. And I think that's kind of where I felt most underwhelmed by it. One time I went to a mariachi concert in Mexico, dude, I bet that was awesome. 18 people? Dang. I only saw a mariachi group once live. My neighbors, they were throwing a birthday for their mother. And they got a mariachi band for an hour or so, and they just played outside, and it was awesome. But I think there was only like 3 or 4 people. Yeah, I think it was 3 then. Guitar, vocalist, and then trumpet and maybe trumpet. I have video of it. I gotta go look that up. It was a couple of years back though. Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure that you go see a real group. It's probably excellent. Like I'm saying though, that's my only exposure to like a mariachi group, is like a small little party group. And it was still great. I can only imagine that it's so much better when you get a real one. Especially, I mean, you're talking like 18 people. I saw 3 and it was already cool. How much better is it when you multiply that by 6? Is it 6 times better? I hope so. And you know, speaking of the mariachi, I felt they were super underutilized on this track. So I don't know. I'm gonna have to look more into Calexico. I like what's going on here. It's one of those cases where I see the potential both in the writing and in the instrumentation. Like, I don't know what is Calexico and what are guest musicians here, but I'm going to assume that Calexico is probably more of the rock band-ish, the drummer, the vocalist, maybe the vibraphonist, maybe 1 or 2 of the strings. I'm going to assume that the brass and the mariachi band, though, are guest. Why would you have them and then not use them to the fullest? I don't know. That's wild to me. No diminishing returns. You don't bring a mariachi band and not let them do their thing. Yeah, exactly. So, yeah. I think that's it. I just see a lot of potential here, and that underwhelmed me because I don't think that they lived up to it. And maybe it's just this one track. But I see the bands, or I see the writing. I think they have the chops for it. So I pulled it down. I'm going to look more into them. Maybe not that song, but more into the group. Next up, we have Furia. Now, I made a mistake. If y'all remember, last week we checked out this avant-garde black metal band that actually resonated with us, or at least with me, more so than expected, given it was black metal. And I was supposed to swap it out and put it next to Furia. We were supposed to have both of those back to back to kind of compare and contrast how 2 different bands would approach black metal in 2 different ways. I went back and re-listened to that black metal that we checked out last week. Got a little bit of a taste of that. I'm going to try to see if I can't bring that up a little bit in this. It'll be interesting to see what Furia does here, though. That might be a little more experimental or different for black metal. Why would you have a gong and a symphony and not use exactly? When you bring things in, it's to my expectation that they're going to be used well. So I don't know. Do we have a term? You know, like in story writing, we have Chekhov's gun, which is, you know, the introduction of an item that isn't used yet, but will definitely be used later. It's given too much prominence in this first scene for it not to come up again later in the story. Do we have that in music? Like when you see instruments, you expect certain things to happen. When you see a mariachi band, you expect greatness. Chekhov's mariachi band. You know what? We can roll with it. We're coining it today. More red herring than a Chekhov's gun. I mean, that's what happened here. They brought the mariachi band in and didn't use it. Yeah, exactly. Jeez. All right. We got context on this from Dawood. Hope I pronounced that correctly. No context on it. Let's see what's going on with this track from Furia. Okay. The 6/8 is an interesting choice already. Mariachi band. That is a massive bass tone too.
Zabieraj, łapska z mojego ramienia. Sam między drzewa idę, być twoim wcieleniem.
Interesting start so far. Always reading into the interesting. That resonant bass tone. And so a louder version of the intro. That's a good question. Is it even black metal? Bass metal. It certainly sets an atmosphere. It can be a bit aggressive. The mix isn't always fantastic. In the heavier sections, the drums get drowned out. It's funny you say, despite your joke, I do find the writing in this section to be a bit underwhelming. They went for an instrumental part and decided not to write anything of focus. Wait for, okay, we'll see what happens towards the end. assume we're going to be getting some blast beats. Well, okay. Not blast beats, but fun. No! This is so good. They got more in the tank. I think the funniest part of all of that, so many comments coming in. Oh, okay, yeah, it's starting to grow on me. I'm getting it. This is pretty cool. Evil's like, I don't know, still nothing. Just looking around the room. What's clicking with everyone else? Yeah, dude, so like the beginning was fine, I guess. I enjoyed the bass sound, but generally it was not necessarily my cup of tea. It just sort of did its thing. I don't know, very basic writing at the beginning. And then we get to the middle point, and it's just a stripping away of everything, which I think is pretty cool thematically. We remove the vocals, we remove the guitar, we remove the bass, and we have just the drums. Now, granted, this was not a particularly interesting part of the song, but it did create a sort of shedding the skin for a new life part of the track, because after this, it just takes off. And the ending was very cool. The bass work was wild. We had the aggressive drumming. We had some wild, almost atonal guitar work going on in there. We brought in the punkier track towards the, final section of the song, bringing in some really aggressive vocals with the group vocals off to the side as call and response. And I mean, it's just, dude, it started out in a fine place, had to strip all of its past away to build into something cool. It's an interesting idea. I kind of agree with everyone else. Not something I particularly want to return to the beginning of, but I don't think the ending works as well without it. Although I also wonder how well the ending works without the novelty, without the surprise of, oh, this really cool stuff is hidden at the end of this. How much of the listening experience is just the anticipation to get to the good stuff? So, I don't know. I really enjoyed that as a one-time listen, though. Kind of trudging through some fine writing to find some really interesting stuff. I didn't know that I reacted to another song from the album, but Furia is a band I recognize by name, at least. But I knew it was black metal. That was it. And I kind of knew it was a little more esoteric or experimental possibly, but again, I didn't really know what I was expecting. So just make a variant of this gimmick with actually interesting basic part. That's fair. You know, just do it better. That's always good good criticism there. Avant-garde blackened death rock and roll metal. Yeah, I can go with that. The shiny metal because it's polished. Oh, jeez. Have we had only Polish groups so far? Oh, probably not Calexico, but our first and third one, yeah. I'll put shiny down just in case. The dad joke edition. That's a good one though. Ah, jeez. All right. So now we have some dialogue going on. Track is F.T.S.I. Greed says it's some post-rocky emo that popped up in Spotify a few weeks ago. We also got a little context here too from Greed saying that F.T.S.I. means Floor Tom Starts It. They said it was a demo name and it just stuck. Oh yeah, the Mariachi Band edition. I wonder if we'll find... Do we have any other live ones today? That's a music video. That's the music video. Wow. Okay, we have a lot of music videos today. There is potential for visual red herrings in the music. We may end up going with the mariachi bands. Genuinely like the idea, but the main issue with the basic section is just how intensely basic and boring. Yeah, like I said, I don't know that I want to return to the beginning. It is not something that captured my interest much at all. I understood the intention behind it, but now we have expectations on us. All right, let's dive into some F.T.S.I. from Dialogue and see what they're bringing to the table. Got some spoken word.
Held in amber, a sliver of hope, a fragment of a promise separated from the sea by a few inches cold.
I like that warm
The shore behind us is poisoned,
chord shift there.
unfit for our mission, unfit to bear a future. The soil is barren, the rain is acid, the wind is a scream. If there is something better waiting for us, I can't say for sure. All that I can say is that we couldn't stay there for long.
Okay.
I envy their patience as they assist the ship, chipping away bit by bit as they hunt the prize within. And with patience I have none. My every thought is consumed as my lust for the shore that waits for us. My desperation to escape the shore behind me, and to escape the things that lurk beneath my boat.
I was gonna say it's starting to sound glitchy, but I wasn't sure if I was hearing things or not.
Finally I see it on the horizon.
like the combination of the two guitar tones here. One a bit thinner and one a bit wider. Not a fan of the production on the crash. Okay. You know, I'm honestly surprised no one made the joke that the band should have been called Monologue instead of Dialogue. I guess I'll make it then. 128K crash. Yeah, dude, something about... I honestly thought it was like a sampled crash at first with really bad overlap, where basically playing the crash again would interrupt and remove the original ringing out of it. But I honestly think it's just a production thing. That might have been a real crash. See, that's what I was thinking too. It had a digital part to it. It might not have been a real one. But the thing is, though, is it sounded different. Every time it got hit, it had a different element to it. And usually, synthesize is going to have that really rigid sound. So I'm kind of 50-50 on that. Either way, was not something I enjoyed too much. That's how real drums sounded during the old MP3 era. I like the song though, I think. New synths allow you to add variation. That's cool. I might have to find myself some new drum engines then. The ones I have don't allow for that variation. It's good atmosphere. I like the guitars. I think they drive a lot of this song. They sound great at the beginning with their complementary, little bit different ideas. And then once we get into the big section, I really like how their tones complement each other and they create this combo sound that is both sort of razor sharp, but also wide and blunt. The atmosphere, I think, works really well with the emotion. It sounds ominous. It sounds dreary. It sounds lonely. It's a lot of negative elements that we kind of go through transitions of. So it tells a little bit of a story through the emotional elements. But it's kind of too post-rocky for me. I needed some sort of hook to it. Maybe just a sick riff or cool bass line or vocal melody, just something. We kind of got a little bit towards the end, but at that point the song was over. I think they accomplished their goal though of creating this tense atmosphere throughout. The vocals do get drowned out though. They're barely loud enough in the first section and they are completely overtaken in the second section. You can't hear them at all. Kind of wish that was done a little bit better. I don't need them to be above the band, but just audible in some way. Yeah, I want to give them another chance though, because I do like the general emo elements to it. Emotionally, it hits in a good place. That song, I don't know that it necessarily clicked for me. This is the most post-rock song on the album. Okay, so yeah. I liked the idea of the song. It didn't work as a whole. That's pretty much where I'm at. This should work on paper, but this specific execution just wasn't for me, but I might find something else that does. Okay, yeah. I'll definitely have to check out the rest of the album then. I like the first section because it sounded like a build-up to something, especially... Yeah, dude, the spoken word I thought added a lot of intensity to it. I wish I could have understood it. Again, it was really low in the mix, but I think being able to follow the story with the music as the atmosphere would have worked really well. And I find it a little unusual that those the focus of those two are inverted and the vocals were downplayed in the mix. But I really do think that's an execution issue, not a conceptual issue. I do think that there's some solid stuff going on here. Might ask the band if they've got the spoken word part written down anywhere. Okay. Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Felt intentionally overwhelming. Yeah, and see, from an artistic perspective, 100%. If the song is about being lost in a relationship, knowing it's over, but it isn't over yet, and the conflicting feeling of reaching the end of something, yeah, dude, being overwhelmed by that makes perfect sense. But like I said though, the first section, I really think the vocals should have been more prominent, especially since there's not much going on there. Keyword being a bit though. That's fair. Absolutely fair. All right, we got some new wheel here, which, if y'all remember, we checked them out a long time ago. And the word that came to mind for me was tool. I don't remember if I directly related them to Tool, but I remember some of the first tracks we heard from them were very Tool-like. So it's interesting to see what they're doing now. I think this is brand new. Yep, relatively recent wheel. The track's called Empire. This one came from Kipper. Let's dive into this. See what Wheel's got going for us. That's not very Tool at all. Big bass though. Oh, dude. That's a fun drum part. Yeah, that's about how I'm feeling about that. How what I'm at a loss for words. I loved the first 3 minutes of that track. Really great technical playing while still being groovy, having a clean, like mainstream rock poppy production style, which I know was not Synapse's cup of tea, but actually worked for me a lot. And it's that sort of palatable technicality. The bass, excellent. The guitar riffs were sick. The drum polymeter, awesome. I still don't know what's going on with the time thing. I think most of this is in 4/4, but I had a tough time finding 1 in a lot of places, so don't quote me on that. I was sold on this. The catchy hook in the chorus, and it's just like great idea after great idea, just absolutely working for me. And then a breakdown that lacked any, like, it had a grittier guitar tone, but it kind of lacked the oomph because of all the spaciousness. It lacked all the dexterous elements from the riffage. It was just this slow, plodding somewhat rhythmic thing. And then it ends. And like, I can't think of a more lackluster way to wrap such an awesome song up than a boring breakdown. And I think sonically it went in an interesting direction. The composition didn't click with me. The vocalist is fantastic. A little bit of grit when he needs it. Just a very powerful, clean vocal though, doesn't overdo it. Sells it though. And I like his I don't know what you would call it. It's like a compressed clean, but it's not crackly. It's sort of bubbly. Like if you have, I don't know, like spit in the back of your throat and you kind of have like the burgling sound rather than the white noise crackle that harsh vocals typically have. And I thought that was a kind of an interesting technique there. You don't hear that too often. It kind of works. I loved everything about this except the last 30 seconds. I just have no idea what happened there. Maybe it's a thematic thing. Maybe if I knew the lyrics, it would make sense, but it comes out of nowhere and just deflates the whole song. Golly. I don't know, man. I'm going to have to check this out, though. They have a new album out or something? They promoting a new album? Why is this? I can't scroll left. What is going on here? New album, Charismatic Leaders. Is it out? Odyssey Music. Hey, no, that's not what I want. Advanced. Y'all need to update your domain certification. Oh. Dude, Wheel, you can't sell albums if your server's closed. Geez. Save it for abrupt endings. Oh, man. I guess I'll have to check out more of their stuff some other way later on. But it looks like their new album's out, so I'm kind of intrigued about that. Spotify have it yet? Nope. Yes. Charismatic Leaders is from 2024. May. Actually, the album's a year old. Maybe the music video's new. They're still supporting it. I didn't know that, though. This was not on my listen list for last year. I gotta bump that up. All right. Let's get back on. I'm getting derailed here. Wheel, the train wheel has been derailed. Let's jump over to some Spotify here with the track Heartless 101 by Frontierer. Why can't I couldn't pronounce that last time it was on the channel either. Scarlett Letterman, you listen to Frontierer. Dude, I'm getting called out here. You listened to Frontierer last month, if you remember, and it was overwhelming. I've chosen one of their least overwhelming songs, and a song I think you'd like the most from the band. So I hope this isn't so bad anymore. Getting called out on the way I pronounce stuff. All right. Brian rambling? Yeah, I don't ramble. Never. I'm always on topic. Just a tad bad. Not so bad anymore. Just a little bit. All right. Let's dive into this. The song is called Heartless 101, which, what a title. It's on the album Unloved. So let's see what they're doing here. I love that album art though. I don't know, something about its spikiness but still round like an orb. Almost looks like a sonic visualizer, but made okay, good build up right here. Some interesting harmonic decisions in there. Swallowing the object on the cover. Ooh, ooh. Interesting vapor effect on like the outskirts of the sound. Okay. Ooh, the sub bass on that. Also, just to make sure you didn't think your comment went unnoticed, just getting the hang of it, Heartless 101, that was clever. Geez. Yeah, this is generally not for me. I really tried. And this is the more palatable stuff on their album. This is wild. So how whelmed are you? I'm definitely overwhelmed. There's a lot of stuff going on. The beginning I felt was a little too, I don't want to say boring, but it was the same thing over and over. He's just screaming and these guitars with these long slides. Boom, boom. And it absolutely sells this idea of the walls melting. I think they did a great job capturing that. It just didn't do anything else with that. The spoken word at the very beginning kind of pulled me into it a little bit, and then we hit that part and I was done. Then we get all the weird textures and the glitch, and honestly, this is all very impressive. I think the production side of this is excellent. I love the sub bass. I love the extra details, the effects. I mentioned at one point that it sounded like just the very outskirts of the sound had a phaser like tip to them, where if we kind of expect the music to be spherical around us, that there's almost like little dips at the like direct across this x-axis, and it sort of like phasers out at the outskirts of this. It's wild. I don't know how to describe it. Very, very cool. Hey, it's Tora. Glad to have you. And so like there's a lot of things on the production side that I am sold on. The techno bits, the glitch, the effects, all of the guitar stuff, very, very cool. But it is an abrasive track that just does not hold your hands. And, you know, it's funny too, because Ramona was making some jokes about eating what was on the album art and then the ambulance coming to help out. But honestly, this song does feel like a drug trip to me. Fine in some places, textured in others, anxious in others. And in fact, there was one part where it felt like you were having an anxiety attack at a rave. That's not a description I can give to too many songs. So, felt like my conscience was being absorbed by the Matrix agents. And they left me as a blob when they flipped to the next host. Yeah, right? An unpleasant trip. It's something. It's too abrasive for me, but I do think that there's a lot of skill and passion put on display here. And honestly, I think coming at it from an artistic perspective, it's fascinating. Drum and bass? Did I say techno? Or or are we bringing up the fact that I called it a rave? Is there like musical connotations to that? I don't know, man. That's not my area. I might have misspoken there. I apologize if I have. But it's just it's impressive. I think that's the last thing I need to say about it. It's not for me. But it was really difficult to turn away. I always wanted to see what was around the corner. An attempt to merge the aggressiveness of metal with the abrasiveness of certain electronic subgenres. I think it's a successful attempt, too. Recognize the art, but hate it. It's so weird that it's not necessarily necessary to listen to more to understand it. I could see that. See, I'm kind of curious, too, if there is depth to it. If repeat listens would grant me more, I don't know, I'd ever get to a point where I enjoy it, but just more knowledge, more understanding of it. To be fair with us Americans, what we call dubstep isn't even dubstep. So we've been getting electronic genres wrong for a long time. Like the production, but didn't care for the music. You take that first hip hop track over this one. Oh, you don't necessarily want to listen to more, but you want to understand it. That I get. So much that you think you're missing. Yeah, especially with your ears too and your high-end equipment. I'd be curious what you might hear listening to it in another context rather than through a stream that's been compressed down to like 160 kilobits. and compressed and all that. What you would hear with your high-end equipment, though, with the original high-fidelity recording of it. Because I bet there's some cool stuff that's in there that no one heard. You'll post? Awesome, cool. I didn't think you were going to jump on it so quickly. I'm down. I'll read whatever you write about it. Also, Ramono had talked about, I think it was Ramono. Somebody, oh yeah, it was Ramono. It says that it looks like the Iron Throne imploded. I'd go look that up. Apparently, the Iron Throne is the thing that's like the symbol of Game of Thrones. Who knew? I mean, probably Game of Thrones fans. So maybe there's that. I've never watched an episode though. I didn't know it had a name. The Iron Throne. Like, I don't know. This is news to me. This is the first thing I've heard that's gotten me interested based on production since Alan Moore. Wow. That's high praise for you. High praise from you. I think both sentences are true in a sense. Everybody talks about Game of Thrones being amazing, and then they talk about how terrible it ends, and now I don't want to start it. So that's where I'm at. At this point, I just feel like I'm fine being the only person in the world who hasn't watched it. Oh, you liked the end. Wow. That's the first I've heard of that. I don't even know what's wrong with the ending. I just know it's like a meme that it was bad or something like that. Just skip the last season, pretend it was never made. It was rushed. It wasn't lost. Well, that's a thumbs up right there. I haven't seen Lost. I think I watched the first season, maybe. And that really began my hatred with J.J. Abrams' style of writing. And that's still true. I don't like the way J.J. Abrams writes. I will never finish Lost. And I typically dislike his films. The ending is worse than Dexter's. I never watched Dexter either. You're going to skip the last season, though? Interesting. Has some of the best episodes of TV. Dude, that's saying a lot coming from you because you also rank BoJack Horseman pretty highly, too. And I think BoJack has some of the best episodes I've ever seen on TV. What have I watched? Honestly, not much. I don't watch a lot of TV, honestly. Something about, 40 to 50 hours worth of storytelling typically just feels drawn out. So I usually skip a lot of shows. Where's my stats page? Yeah, so here's some numbers right here. I have watched close to 1,000 films that I've been able to document, probably more than that, give or take some stuff that I've watched and just didn't remember. I watched it. I only started documenting this stuff like 5 years ago, and I've been trying to recall older stuff I've watched. But as far as TV shows, 145. I don't watch TV, man. You should watch BoJack. Okay, so Rick and Morty, Harvey Birdman's classic. If you like Rick and Morty, you'll probably like BoJack, but I will say that Rick and Morty, BoJack is it's a more focused show. I'll say that. I do think they're both adult animation, but they're made for two different groups of people. But I do like both of them, and you might too. That's my main issue with serialized shows. It often stretches a movie's worth of plot over 10 times the time. Yep. And see, Game of Thrones should be different because it's not just a serialized show. It's based off of lots of book material. And so it should keep things going throughout, but at the same time, It's a lot of stuff to watch. It's just not on the surface. It looks like it. Yeah, like I said, they're both adult animation, but they're two totally different things. Although I will say, the first episode of BoJack is not great and does remind me of Family Guy or Rick and Morty. And I'm really glad they decided to shift gears really quickly. I think by episode 3, it moves over to its more dramatic area that it sticks with, where comedy's secondary to the drama. And yeah, that's where it really picks up for me. I need to watch Battlestar Galactica. The new one, not the old one. That's on my list of things to do. I have so many other things to watch, listen to, play that I just skip most TV and movies. Dang, skipping movies is wild to me. That to me is like, here's the thing though, and I kind of agree, is that a lot of movies are just which is usually fine for me because it's 90 minutes, whatever. But I would prefer if I could just like watch all of the best movies ever and just never have to watch something meh. Although sometimes meh's fine. Right now I'm going through the Final Destination films to prepare for 6 when it hits streaming later this year, next year, I don't know. And they're entertaining. There's popcorn flicks. BoJack Horseman starts off terribly. Totally agree. Like I said, I think it picks up really on like episode 3 or 4, somewhere around there. And I know a lot of people who gave up after episode 2, and I don't blame them, but I wish they wouldn't have. A lot of TV now is better than most movies. That's interesting. Although I'd say what you're arguing is some of the best TV is better than most movies. Because there's a lot of TV that's just reality TV, crime dramas, serialized stuff that goes on for 30 seasons. That makes up a majority of the TV out there, but most people don't talk about that. I used to watch a lot of documentaries, so I totally get that. Listen to music rather than watch TV or movies. I notice a lack of book reading in here, though. No one's bringing up books at all. Which I'm not being judgmental either. My book reading is very low. I've read, that I can remember, less books than TV shows. But I am working my way through the Expanse books right now, and that is fascinating. I can't wait to get to the TV show of that. But I want to catch up. I think the show stopped at season 5 or book 5. So I'm going to read the first 5 books and then watch the show and then pick up the books after that. That's going to be awesome. Mostly replace TV with YouTube channels. Wow. I couldn't do it. Shows have more time to develop characters. Yes. That is the one thing I think shows do well. And I wish more shows would focus on it. To me, that's where the golden age of TV is with character development and really strong stories around that, which is why, stuff like Mad Men and Breaking Bad and Game of Thrones pop up, because they do take character development seriously. You read to your daughter at bedtime? That's cool. I used to do that. She kind of grew out of that, though. She don't need me to read to her anymore. I kind of miss it, though, for sure. 100 Years of Solitude? What is this? I'll have to look that up later, but I don't want to forget either. Everyone talks about Taskmaster. I don't even know what it is. You don't own a TV? What in the world? Is Taskmaster that game show? I've been seeing a lot of game shows pop up in my YouTube shorts, and I don't click on them, but they've been popping up with increasing frequency. Oh, thanks for the Father's Day well wishes. Ask your daughter to read to me. Jeez. Oh, the 100 Years of Solitude is better in Spanish. Yeah, I might be able to read 10% of that, depending on how big the vocabulary is. My Spanish is not great. You have a computer and internet. What would a TV give me? A bigger screen? But I guess if you're watching everything on your computer anyways, it doesn't give you much. I get it. Incredibly silly game show of pure genius. Okay. Maybe that is what I'm seeing then. I gotta go look it up. British game show focused on celebs doing silly tasks. Read it in Swedish. I'll have zero understanding at that point. English version's still good though. That's good to hear. Some of it is lost in translation. That's a shame. One of these days, I hope people build like a universal translator, like we always see in the films. Because even if I learned another language, which is tough, my brain just does not. Anyways, it's still one language. I'm still missing out on the hundreds of others with great media coming out of them where translations lose stuff. So, a universal translator. Oh, even that wouldn't work. It's not that your brain's not wired for it, it's your society. That's possible, but there's still, Americans who become translators, who become polyglots, who are, they can speak in multiple languages. I don't know, man. I took Spanish for 3 years. I've used programs. I tried Rosetta Stone. I've tried what's the big one today? Duolingo. And it doesn't click. No matter how much I learn it, there's still this really lengthy translational layer between when I hear words or read words to when I understand them. And it never reaches a point where I'm not feeling like I'm basically an English to Spanish dictionary or a Spanish to English dictionary working very slowly. They're infamously terrible. Well, that's that makes me feel a little bit better about my ability to learn these. Geez. People talk in relation to their culture, so many things wouldn't make sense. Oh, see, there's that too. Yeah, it's not just a translational lost in translation, but also a cultural loss. Yeah. They have a Netflix series now? Netflix, man. I don't watch anything from Netflix anymore. It basically feels like it's a flip of a coin whether they're actually going to finish it or not. I don't want to get invested into something that's going to get canceled. You know it will be bad, so don't be afraid. All right, we got to get this train rolling again. I really enjoyed this conversation, though. I think I just need like one stream a month somehow where we just chill and chat. No directive, no goal for the day. Just good conversation. They're fine for building vocabulary and learning pronunciation, but you can't learn a language with them. Interesting. Oh, that's an interesting translational thing too. We're happy and you're happy. It's all good. It is good. Until we've just done a 4-hour stream. We finally got through all 11 songs, and my kid's starving in the corner wondering when I'll be done. Jeez. All right. We're going to keep this going. Y'all can keep the conversation rolling as usual. I don't mind. I got to get the song moving, though. Wind Walkers. The End Aesthetic. I like that title. One day she'll bring you the sandwich. I'm afraid of what she'd put in it. She's not a big prankster, but she's definitely got a comedic mind to her. Okay, so I need to tell this because it just popped into my mind. It was April Fool's Day. 2020, maybe 2019. And I told my kid it was just her and I in the house. And I said, I'm going to go get the mail. I'll be right back. So I go out to the mailbox. It's empty. I come back inside, and I kid you not, there is whipped cream everywhere. I had a plate of food I was going to eat. It was about lunchtime, whipped cream on it. My cup had whipped cream on it. It was going into my water. There was whipped cream on my desk. This is the kind of stuff my kid does. So I'd be kind of afraid of what kind of sandwich she would bring me. Very uncharacteristic of her to bring me food. I would be very, what's that word? Suspicious of it. Who knows? Some sort of spicy sauce or something, and it'd be burning up 5 seconds unattended, right? She must have grabbed that stuff and just started whipping it up everywhere. And they were all like nice dollops too. It wasn't just like flung around. She took her time on it, but she busted through the house getting it anywhere she could. Oh man. It was impressive. I'll give it that. Efficient, right? All right. Do we have comment on this? Johnny, the newest single by Windwalkers. Can't stop listening to this band. Why are the choruses so hooky? Help. I'm going to get locked in on this. I can already tell. The first single since their first album with their current vocalist. It's about how our generation feels doomed because of all the crap going on in the world with a mainstream synthwave metalcore sound that I love to sing to. This sounds right up my alley. Sounds like something you would see on Task. Just bringing it back, right? Don't let Brian forget about the game show. All right, let's dive into this. All right, Ramono, have a good rest of your day. We're going to check out some Windwalkers. Listen to the percussion before each chorus.
Going in blind, out of my mind, no way around it. When every line and mold we feel is coinciding. Trying to breathe, but the silence speaks, we know about it.
Good vibe right here to start with.
I think it's systematic. I'm stuck in a way that I've been in so long. Got nothing to say. Our words are spent. We're suffering and waiting for the sun to just give out its soul.
Pop Architects? Okay. You might not be wrong on that. Bring me the mark. It's not that bad. Jeez. I see most of you aren't down for this, but I enjoyed this quite a bit. This is my cup of tea, though. This is what I talk about, balancing the heavier, grittier side of metal with a poppier aesthetic and catchy vocal runs. I know. I know you're just playing around. That's I love it bringing in the heavier part in the bridge. And I mean, this is just good stuff, man. Yeah, Windwalkers. I keep wanting to say Wind Wakers, though. Windwalkers is just, I don't know, that L's invisible to me. Basically about selling their soul to become big enough to tour and be successful. That's interesting. There was no heaviness or grit whatsoever. Comparable to some of the more extreme metals? No, you're right. But it was heavier and grittier than the verse and chorus. So a bit too artificial. I could see that. It has a very, very produced sheen to it. And I think, if I got into it critically, there's not a lot to dig into. Lots of chords on the guitars, sound effects, very texture based. The drums are okay. Like, this is definitely not a song to dive into there. It's a vibe track. And I think where people get into like post rock for the aesthetics and textures and the atmospheres of it, this is my texture, atmosphere, just close your eyes and jam with it kind of music. So, is that what happened? I noticed when I was jamming out in the final verse, I got thrown off. And I couldn't figure out why, but I wasn't paying too close of attention. But the snare switched. Okay, that makes sense then. They're coming to Orlando as opening, or are they big enough to headline? Also, I see that it's Fearless Records, and that checks out. It's not complex, and that's not what they're there for. Exactly. The appeal is the vibe, the melody, and the sing-along live potential. 100%. Mainstream EDM. Well, there's a lot of electronic music in metalcore these days, so I could see that. Memphis Mayfire. I don't know the other. Yeah, I don't know the other two. I had a double take on Elijah, but I don't think I know them. But Memphis Mayfire is good stuff too. No. Metalcore. Jeez. The fun part is that that's part of metal, so that applies. That joke could be made against any metal. You posted in Song Club a while ago. I don't think I paid much attention to the Song Club, unfortunately. That would have been a cool thing to join in on, but I never got around to checking into that like I do with Album Club. All right. Next up, we have some Soen. I was wondering where Mark was coming with this. Like, what's Soen have to do with anything? But yeah, they're next. Yeah, they're the next bands. Post hard passcore. Okay, you got that one. Jeez. This one comes from Nessa. Have this band as my next album reaction. Thought I'd provide a taste from one of the other ones. Again, crazy that they haven't been featured on the channel before, considering their popularity. They haven't? At all? I feel like I know that name. Oh, we have 0 reactions. Maybe a live stream? I'll have to look into that. I like overproduced before they sold out. Jeez. They're headlining in September? That's wild. Yeah, I don't know how many of you are in here who are also analyzer tier or higher, over analyzer? No, analyzer tier or higher. But there are quite a few people who don't have album reaction suggestions in. Check out the spreadsheet and see if you're one of them. And if you are, get a selection to me. If you want to. If you don't, that's fine too, I suppose. You're aware, just don't know what to pick. That's fair. I have like 1 or 2 albums that I'd like straight to the top. I would know exactly that that's what I wanted someone to listen to. Beyond that, though, I think I'd be a bit lost. Feel like you've had the most lately? There are some people, I think we pushed into our first person to have 4 picks now. So, Azure. We're getting to Azure soon, I think. Or maybe we had Azure in, I don't remember. For some reason, I had in my mind we were going to be checking them out soon. I don't know why. Haven't submitted a live stream song in half a year. I suspect that's 1 more stream this month. Yeah. 2 more, technically. But yeah, there's still plenty of slots left. Because we have 5 Sundays this month. I don't know what I'm going to do on the 29th. because August the 3rd, I think, I'll be out of town, but there's 4 in August, so I don't have to worry about getting ahead of the curve. I mean, there's 5 in August, so I don't have to worry about getting ahead of things either. So maybe we might not do one. Maybe we'll just do live requests. Maybe it'll be that let's just hang out day that I was talking about. Relax. I don't know what relaxation is. All right. You'll consider submitting a song? Yeah, go for it, man. All right, let's dive into some Soen here. See what's going on with this group. See if maybe I don't know if I get my mind rejiggered because I don't know that I've heard them before, but the name's just, it's so familiar to me. The Whipped Cream War on the 29th. Coolest Shocker, Shakir track. Interesting. All right, let's see what's going on with Soen. That is a very big sound. Oh, it is Shaker? I thought it was Shakir. Coolest Shaker. Okay. The little hand drums. This is definitely very Tool. I like your sonic breakdown there. Very accurate. I feel like I'm giving them a little crap, but it's actually pretty solid so far. Digging the groove on it. The vocal timbre. And I think when you come at it from that perspective, it's done really well. I think that this achieves the atmosphere it's going for while being very groovy, very rhythmically intense. But you really have to enjoy what they're doing. And in a sense, you have to be a big Tool fan to like this. I'm usually not a Tool fan. They have some songs that interest me, but on the whole, this song is kind of a collection of many of the things that don't really work for me with Tool, and it hyper focuses on them. And so I think I'm going to leave it here that it does what it does well. It's just not my cup of tea, though I will agree that the vocal is fantastic. I could listen to this dude sing pretty much anything, and I'd probably enjoy that part of it. Also, at this point, I think I need to rename one of y'all in chat. The Youth Wordplay Explosion is your new name. You made one med joke, and it's taken off. Really enjoyed 50% of this one and didn't care for the other 50. Yeah. I love Tool and thought this was just okay. All right. Too Tool-like. It's funny, I was expecting more Tool from Wheel, and I didn't get it there, but we ended up getting another track that was very Tool-like today. Matt is the new Chuck Norris. They went into a more Opeth-like direction, making their live shows pretty diverse. That's pretty cool. The Mexplosion. That's comical in that it works and also brings an entire new sound to it. Tool Live is pretty good. That's cool. Yeah, I guess I got to give Soen another listen though. This one just didn't click with me. You've seen Tool on TV? Fighting the urge to make a dad joke on Father's Day about seeing Tool in my garage. Next up, we have some Crowbar. Speaking of tools. Tool has one fantastic album. Which one? Which one do you like best from them? Oh, this is a short. You know, it's a bit more atmospheric than I was expecting. Maybe it's because we've lightened up a little bit, but I'm kind of enjoying this section. Oh, it's the outro. Had to have a fade out. Yeah, I mean, that's another song. I don't think there's a lot to say about it. You listen to it, you get yelled at. There's some sick riffage in there, and then some cool atmosphere. And that's the song right there. Okay, so your story of he just, you know, he wanted my CD player, there's nothing much to it. I mean, the story got really interesting. Yeah, all you need. That's it right there. That is a solid stoner track. Not stoner, sludge. One good fade out every stream. And so the story ended with Martin getting faded out. Yeah, there's definitely a point in your story that I think we moved from fact to fiction. The AI story making is getting really good. Jeez. But yeah, I mean, this is just a song that does what it does. Sick riffs, filthy textures, getting yelled at. It's good stuff. So yeah, there's not much more to say about that. It's just, that's good. It's one of those things that you have your expectations put at a reasonable area, and then they meet them and you move on with life. Sometimes that music just works. You know what that music reminds me of? Windwalkers. It's just music that does what it does. You enjoy it, you move on with life. You're not trolling, you can't make this story up, but are you making this story up? At the beginning, it was just, he wanted to see my CD player, and now it's like, interesting. I'd say at this point, I don't know. And the thing is too, like if maybe you were someone else, I would just buy it. But you play around with me a lot, man. So I don't know what is fact and what is fiction in this story. and, and then you end it with that, if that even is the ending. You swear this is all true? Dude, it's... Oh, jeez. I'm going to believe you against my better judgment. I want this story to be real, so I'm going to allow it to be. All right. We got some... Wait, Girish? Why do I have Girish? Let me update this real quick, yeah? Stream. Current song. Girish and the Chronicles with the track Kaal. Yeah, and then your track is going to wrap today up. Yeah, I guess that's how you can describe my feelings right now, Shading. Youth Worship Explosion believes it, and that's all that's important. Plot twist, he was the one that was high that night. Jeez. You'll let me know afterwards? That is fair. You have been pretty clear with me in the past about that. But when does the trolling reach the next level? Where you use my trust against me? This is newish music, found it from Doom Scrolling. All right. Yeah, this is from Mark. Newish music, saw a short of some guy wailing on a sound check, then had to listen to this and was blown away. What a description. Their other songs are great, but with awful lyrics and cheese. Okay, yeah, I'm always down for cheese too, but let's dive. You're the friendly troll. That's good to know. All right, Leon, have a good rest of your day. I find that to be really interesting. Each section, the bridge, the choruses, the verses, the post-choruses, they all seem to pull from different genres and eras. And I really like the combination of everything. Yeah, enjoyed way more. When I first heard it, I was like, okay, this is going to be some solid rock sounds. And I'm going to like it, but it's not going to be something I'm going to seek out. Halfway through that track, I ended up pulling that down. I'm going to have to check them out. I looked them up on Spotify already. This is a 2024 single. It doesn't appear on any of their 3 previous albums. And I think I'm going to have to check out their 2023 album, which is their latest, and see what's going on there, because it's been a while since I've listened to anything like this, and it started to scratch an itch that I didn't know I had. And I'm down for more. Proper hardcore breakdown, yeah. Yeah, like I said, influences everywhere. The little dash of a bunch of stuff that's been kind of I don't know if I would use the mainstream, but popular might be a term I would use in rock and metal, and bringing it all together in a new way. And finding somehow to tie it all together too. Nothing felt out of place, despite me being able to clearly hear, divides in influence. So I'm down for it though. It's a nice mix of a bunch of 90s and 2000s ideas wrapped up into a nice tight package. So yeah, good find, Mark. Definitely glad to have found this one. Or be introduced to it, I suppose is the term for that. All right, we have a short one to wrap today up with. Long Sought Rest, Cold Dinner. This one comes at us from Tedesco with no context. I'm going to jump right into it. Palette cleanser in between artsy black metal tracks. Is this black metal? I can read the logo, so maybe, I don't know. I'm kind of getting like, was it dungeon? What is that genre? The dungeony one. The lo-fi dungeon vibes. Not much to say, just good. Oh, folk punk. Okay, I'm usually down for folk punk. I'm excited about this. Let's jump in. You can think of better cleansers. It scratches an itch if you want 80s, 90s hair metal stuff. Don't expect more. Interesting.
The empty empty tracks.
Yeah, I got a black metal vibe from the main image.
Well, I'm a crooked
But the band logo is definitely punk.
between a damn clothes and cold dinner. I've been here 4 days waiting on that double stack. I'm all out of ideas. Just sit and watch the empty tracks. 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 Sit and watch the empty tracks.
Ooh, kicking it up just a little bit for the ending here. Oh, I hear the washboard very clear here.
Well, I've been slowly growing out of everything that I love. I'm not gonna grow up. I don't wanna. I've been slowly growing out of everything that I love. I don't wanna grow up. I'm not gonna. I'm in 4 days waiting on a Sit and watch the empty tracks. Sit and watch the empty tracks. Sit and watch the empty tracks.
I need someone with skill, preferably, to figure out what it is about this that I enjoy. Because on the surface, it's highly repetitive, it's lo-fi, it's simple, it's noisy. There is a lack of strong elements of harmony to it, and yet I love folk punk so much. It's such an infectious little thing. The only thing that would have made this better is some trumpet. Don't make it a little sky in some places. But the multiple vocal layers catch me, and the energy and the atmosphere of it, I don't know, man. Same thing with like Days and Days. That's another group. You know, they have like a piece of string that they use for the bass, and a washboard, and a junky old acoustic guitar that looks like it's falling apart. And they're singing out of tune, and it's just upbeat punk music on this, like, I don't know, $50 total for the instrumentation. And it's infectious. Yeah, I mean, just having fun with my friend at a bar vibe. Exactly. And that shouldn't work for me. Like, if I'm playing it 100%, just in the moment, fun stuff. But to listen to it ticks so many boxes of things I don't like usually. And it just clicks for me, though. Is it kind of like folk hardcore? Yeah. Album cover plus lo-fi does make it a bit blackened. Yep. So yeah, like, I don't know. There's not a lot to it. Not a lot to dig into. It's fun. And I guess we're going to wrap this up on a couple of tracks that I don't really have a lot of words for, other than that they do what they do very well. And I need, well, actually, Girish, there's a lot to talk about on that one. But we had Soen, we had Windwalkers, and now Long Sought Rest, all kind of wrapping the stream up on something a bit more. They just do what they do. Send another folk punk. I'm down for that. All right, this is going to wrap it up for today. That's not too bad. 20 minutes over. I mean, we had 11 songs, which is one more than we typically do. And we had that derailment into film and books and TV. And we still didn't go over that far. So that's pretty good. I'm going to go get some food, cook some lunch. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day. Hopefully it's less meh than the music was today. I don't even like saying that, man. The music today was fantastic. Yes, even if you're not in the US, happy Father's Day to all the fathers out there. 20 minutes over. Jeez. Y'all are really going to make me put meh in the title for today. Just kind of forcing my hand on that. I got to check out Taskmaster. Master. A couple other things y'all introduced me to. There's only one track, one reaction coming out for tomorrow. So expect the early access for that coming up soon. The VOD for this will be out as soon as I can. And that's about it for today. So, as usual, yep, Wednesday, we're going to kick off Nier Automata playing. It's a video game, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Usually like 1 to 2 hours of playing. So if you can make it into that short window and you want to check out that game with me, awesome. Also, like I said, usual releases. We're still going to do the 2 special selections this week. It's just not going to be Monday, Thursday. It'll probably be Tuesday, Thursday. Master of Pup. I can't deal with that, man. And we're not doing any more Cruelty Squad. That's for sure. We have done some music from Nier Automata's soundtrack, though. So if you enjoyed that, checking into the gameplay might be an interesting thing. Also, though, if you do bring tissues, because the first game made me tear up, and I'm sure the second one will too, and I'm sure you'll also tear up. All right, I think that's all the announcements I have for this week then. Y'all have a fantastic rest of your day, and until next time, I'll catch you later.